G'day droners, today we are doing the DJI Mavic Air review finally, and we've got MikeBishop.tv.
What's up everybody?
How's it going, Mike?
Going good.
Guys, we're really sorry this has taken us so long to do, but you've been overseas how many times?
I don't know, I lost track.
I think 2 or 3 times since the Mavic Air has come out. We have been using this a lot, and instead of reviewing it really fast, we wanted to go out and shoot a lot of original content like we usually do, right, Mike?
Yeah, we shot Tom skateboarding around Venice, and I was just in Africa and used it out in the field filming with some wildlife and in different kinds of situations, so I got to give it a good little test run.
Yeah, so let's dive into some of the features right now that you guys probably already know about, but some of the features that we like. So video, we're both big video guys. We've got an improved bit rate. It's gone up from 60 megabits to 100 megabits per second. So for people that don't know, Mike, what does that mean for video quality?
You're just getting better overall quality. They're getting less compression, less artifacting. You're getting more colors, more detail, more sharpness, just a much richer image. And looking at this image, I can notice right away that it's producing a better quality than the Mavic Pro. Which I would look at that and analyze it, and I was always kind of left a little disappointed. I know it's a great drone and people have blown my mind all the time with what they can do with that drone, but you know, if you're just gonna choose between taking one or the other out, I would go for the better quality one. So to me, this is gonna be the winner.
And on that note, speaking of the Mavic Pro, because a lot of people are comparing the two, the Mavic Pro is 1.5 years old now. I think it's around that.
Which is a long time in drone years.
It's a long time, and this has been really refined. The camera has been improved a lot. Again, we've got that improved bit rate. The 1080 at 120 frames per second in HD is
pretty
crazy.
Impressive, yeah. Like that test I did with shooting Tom skateboarding on that, I was watching the slow motion back at 120 frames a second. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, how difficult it used to be even a few years ago to get those kind of frame rates and that quality. It was just unheard of, and now we're getting that in a small drone like this that can also fly. Is really impressive.
For you guys that are worried about crashing into stuff, we've got the rear sensors at the back here, so we've got the front sensors, we've got the downward sensors.
And you also have the gimbal that's protected by the plastic, so the edges of the drone come out enough that if it falls, your gimbal's going to be protected, which before was always the most exposed thing, was also the most fragile. Now it's protected.
Some of the smart features, let's talk about that, these new intelligent flight modes. Now, my favorite feature on this, and I've already done a video on it, it's the asteroid feature. It's really cool. It does that fly away selfie, reverses the footage, takes in all the environment, does it all automatically. That's probably one of my favorite features in this, and it exports it to your phone without even having to sort of pull anything into a computer. So within a minute, you can have the asteroid feature on your phone shared, tiny planet, and it looks really cool. What are some of your favorite intelligent flight modes on this mic?
I mean, the active track is always really impressive, I think. I don't tend to use smart features a lot because I'm always trying to do it manually, but sometimes when I do, I realize that it's actually doing a better job than I could have. Like if you're following a moving subject that's kind of doing this, like you don't have to gauge your speed as much if it's active tracking. It's just gonna do it for you.
And it's got the new chip and processor and this brain inside it. Autonomy 2.0, I think they're calling it. It's, you know, it's not just sensing obstacles, it's avoiding them. Because I know when we did do that active track with Tommy, the skater, it saw a palm tree and then veered around it and followed him and kept him in active track, which was really impressive. So before the sensors would hit, and it would stop, and you'd lose your shot essentially.
Stop abruptly too. Whenever the sensors went off, it would just instantly set off the alarms and the thing would stop and it'd ruin your shot, even if you're just trying to get a nice close shot to something. So to go around that without having a real shot's nice.
And another flight I did with one of these intelligent flight modes, I did a hike with Hugo, and there was a girl sitting there reading a book, and she was interested in the drone, so we got her flying, and we did the helix feature. So that's that spiral, so it sort of starts here and it starts to do like an orbit out further, which again, that's a really technical, difficult, hard shot to do. So she was really impressed with that. And she ended up flying with 3 batteries and killing it. She was loving flying the drone. She was really, really nervous at first, but this being such a small, nimble drone, she was like, once she got flying, she was really loving it. Showing people how easy these intelligent flight modes are, you can achieve things that you can't do manually. So on that note, another time we went up for another flight, we did the Boomerang feature. Now, that is another really, really hard feature to do manually, even for good
it seems like a simple thing to do, but it's actually pretty hard.
To get those shots manually are virtually impossible. So yeah, it's pretty amazing all the stuff that's coming inside this little drone. Let's move on to the photos. Now, 12 megapixel camera, shoots in DNG. For you, Mike, working in DNG rather than JPEG, let everyone know, like, what are they going to be able to get from a DNG picture compared to?
So much more dynamic range. Like being able to pull out a lot more details in the shadows and the highlights, so you just get a much more detailed image. So yeah, it's like night and day. Working in JPEGs, you have no latitude for color, like barely any latitude for coloring and dynamic range. But if you're shooting raw, you just have so many more levels of color and information to work with.
So I highly recommend you guys out there, if you haven't already got Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop, definitely get on that, because a JPEG on this is about 6.7 megabytes, and then you shoot in DNG, it's up around 24 megabytes, which is the same amount of information and data that I'm getting from my Canon 5D Mark III. Obviously you haven't got that huge, sensor, but it's getting that same amount of information.
Yeah, great image on the stills out of the camera here.
And another great thing about this, I don't know if you've used these photo modes, Mike. I know you do it manually with all your photos, where you do take a photo, you do like 5 or 6 images, and then you stitch them in post.
Exactly, yep. I do that all the time.
So you do that manually. This has now got vertical panorama, and then it's got horizontal panorama, all built in, so it will do it automatically.
Yeah, which is nice, because when you're doing it yourself, sometimes there's a bit of a delay on the processing of taking the picture. So you take it, you wait, and then you reposition it, and you're not always totally sure that the framing's right and everything. So just to be able to push one button and have the drone do it itself is a nice feature for sure.
Yeah, so for all you beginners out there that couldn't quite do that before manually, it now does it all automatically. So it's just, they've done it and made it more convenient, export it, it's already stitched together. One thing I did notice when we did our shots, Mike, was earlier in the day when it wasn't windy and we did the panorama, it was perfect. There was no warbles or imperfections. Once we did it later in the day when the wind came up, the panoramas and the verticals weren't perfect. The horizons were off.
Oh, really?
Because the wind was moving the drone so much, it wasn't
miscalculating it for the amount of motion?
It was miscalculating it. So those smart flight photo modes aren't going to work as well in high wind. So that's something I noticed.
I think it's just like anything that's fully automatic, it's not always going to be the most optimized thing. Like if you set your camera to completely auto, generally it's going to look good, but if you really break it down in different situations, it's not always going to work the fully auto everything. So yeah, but I think in general it's a pretty cool feature.
So let's talk about some of the positives and negatives of the Mavic Air. Let's start with the positives, Mike. I want to ask you, what are your positives that you like about this Mavic Air?
Biggest positive for me is the size. I think just having it fit in my camera bag so nicely. It's the size of a lens. If you're just in a rush or see something on the fly, it's like, get the Mavic Air, just zip, pop, pop, you're up in no time. So I love having something this small.
I mean, it is small. Like, here's my iPhone 7 Plus. It is literally the same size in length.
Right.
It's obviously thicker, but yeah, that form factor in the bag.
And stacked up with the remote like this in your bag, it's just like, that fits so nicely.
Yeah. So you like, what else? The video?
The video quality is really good. It's a step up from the Mavic Pro. So I'd have to give it definitely 2 thumbs up for image quality, especially for the size as well. So size and quality are both the best things about this, which are both very important things, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Some of my positives that I like about this, yeah, obviously the form factor, I'm with you on that one, Mike. The intelligent flight modes for me, the asteroid feature, it's just really cool. When I was out on the street there showing all these people this asteroid feature, they were just like blown away. It's really cool. The boomerang feature, I'm Australian, so I think I threw a boomerang at a drone. I might cut to that right now. But yeah, that is a really, really cool feature. So DJI incorporating all these new intelligent flight modes, the automatic panorama stitch wide. They've got that cool sphere, which is 32 megapixels. So you can do a sphere and you can move around, which is again, that tiny planet. It just looks awesome. And again, it does all the stitching and everything for you. So there's no programs, there's no third-party apps that you need to get it. So I think for me, it's a combination of form factor, the intelligent flight modes, the asteroid, boomerang, and yeah, these photo modes and the improved camera is, yeah, the slow-mo. There's a lot of positives that I like about this.
It's got a lot packed into a small package here.
And for 800 bucks, it's crazy. So let's talk about the negatives, because I know a lot of you guys are gonna wanna know what we think on the negatives. And we're straight shooters here at Drone Gear. We tell it how it is, don't we, Mike? So let's start off with your negatives. Let's talk about what you don't like about this drone.
I like a lot of things about it. What I don't like is the performance on it. I found in GPS mode is quite slow. So you're flying like ready to go and you're like, wait, why isn't it going? It's going pretty slow.
Yeah.
So, and I think
a little bit of a delay there.
No, it's not a delay. It just, the speed of it is slow.
Yeah.
So it moves slow. And I think maybe it's because the gimbal isn't able to handle really high speeds because it's small, but you put it in sport mode and it's flying, but you don't get the same gimbal control. You don't get the sensors. So to me, that was kind of the trickiest thing to get over, was the fact that it just doesn't go that fast.
Yeah. A negative for me is definitely going to be the transmission, the video transmission. I know a lot of people in the forums have been going nuts about it. It hasn't got OcuSync, it uses Wi-Fi. So you're not going to get as far range. I flew it out at certain times, and because I was in a built-up area, I did get a bit of interference with the video. It cut out and I was only a couple hundred feet away. So it's not the most reliable for video feed and for range.
I think generally you don't want to fly more than a kilometer away, even if your drone can fly that far. It's like kind of questionable to fly any more past that. So if this goes a kilometer and is good, then I think that's okay. I don't think it's that bad.
It wasn't a deal breaker for me. Obviously I use this a lot, but the transmission was a little patchy sometimes. But for the most part, I didn't have any major issues. I know some people are going to beat on about the range, but again, you're not supposed to be flying legally beyond line of sight. I know there's a lot of Mavic Pro owners that like to set world records for distances, but it's not good for the industry. It's illegal and you're not supposed to be flying beyond line of sight anyway. So that myth with the range kind of gets cut off right there with the legalities of it. So it's not a problem if you're flying legally and within line of sight. Another negative, it's not that much of a negative for me, it's the flight time. It's about 18, 19 minutes. They say 21 minutes, you're gonna get around 18, 19 minutes on average. Obviously that 21's optimized, just hovering there with no wind and whatnot. But in saying that, the batteries are half the size of the original batteries.
Yeah, you gotta make some compromises in size versus flight time.
Exactly.
But to me, I think having around 20 minutes of flight time is still plenty. I usually, don't fly a full half an hour. I think, I usually come down with a lot of time left on my batteries. So that's, to me, is about the right time. Carry a few extra batteries.
Yeah.
Take 20-minute flights is fine. Like where we started from with the Phantom 1 had 5 minutes of flight time. And then the other thing that I found kind of irritating was the fact that you have to plug the drone in to your computer to read the card. You can't just take out the card and put it into a card reader, which I thought was kind of odd.
I noticed that as well. So what they've done, for anyone that hasn't bought one already, you've got your internal storage of 8 gigabytes, which we haven't talked about. That's a positive as well.
That is cool, because I'm sure a lot of people have showed up to a shoot somewhere, especially when it's somewhere far where it's hard to get and you realize you forgot your card. So
I've definitely done that, and I know you've done it as well. I think every drone pilot's done it at some point in their career. So having 8 gigabytes of internal storage is better than nothing. So that's why they've done this. And I did notice that as well. You can't pull the micro SD out and plug it in. It doesn't read. You've got to plug in the USB-C directly into
Which, if you're shooting
laptop.
a lot of cards, like on most of my drones, I'd change the card after every flight in case something happens, you don't lose your footage. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, sometimes I'll have like 8 cards to transfer, so they have to like put them all in out of the drone.
So that's a little bit of a negative, having to pull this up to your laptop instead of pulling the card out and plugging it in. That is a little bit of a pain, but
kind of weird.
Overall, I'm seriously blown away by this drone. It is insane. You know, we've talked about the negatives, but the positives for me far outweigh any negatives.
Yeah.
Those negatives are very, very minor.
They're pretty minor as opposed to all the advantages that you get and the amount of technology in here and how far it's come. Like, if you're complaining about some of these smaller things, you're just really digging pretty deep for looking.
Yeah, you're pulling at straws there. People don't realize how far we've come. Now I'm gonna give you guys a little history lesson here on drones. My first drone was $25,000 and that didn't come with a camera. The gimbal wasn't brushless, no sensors, GPS wasn't a thing. And now we can get a 4K drone with a 3-axis gimbal with front, rear sensors, downward sensors, all these automated flight modes for $800.
And it fits into your camera bag.
So any negatives far outweigh any positives, and we've come so far, and DJI has really, really nailed this. I did talk to the guys. They even had a designer that designs cars design this, which is why it looks as cool as it looks. So they're not just spending millions of dollars on R&D to make all this technology work and for a better drone experience. They're getting designers to design the drone to make it look cool as well. So the attention to detail on this drone is absolutely insane. Quickly, we haven't really talked about the remote, so let's just touch on that before we sign off here. One thing which is great, I know a lot of people, their controller little nibs here would come off, it could break, and a lot of people...
It was definitely the fragile point of the remotes and something that would break when you put it in your bag. I was always worried about my sticks getting snapped off.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously you could lose these now, which is the trade-off.
I've dropped them a couple times and I'm like, crap, you lose one.
So you do get a spare set, but that's really cool. Again, that's eliminated another product.
Yeah, love the screw-on.
And there's no LCD panel. There's no real. We never really used that. That was just draining battery from the remote. So we've got more remote battery time now because that screen's not there, which is great. So in summary, guys, with this DJI Mavic Air, I'm pretty impressed, Mike, what they've packed into this thing for $800.
I think I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I mean, the value versus features and quality, you're definitely winning by getting this drone. I know there's a few, you know, I feel like when it came out, everyone wanted to really pick it apart because everyone wants a bigger sensor, and it didn't have a bigger sensor, which was kind of like, oh my God, now we got to look at what's all these other things. But at the end of the day, it's an awesome drone. The size and quality you get in this thing are awesome. So yeah, I have one and I'm not complaining. It's been doing really good.
I think, you know, I always talk about it, consumer expectation, $800 compared to where we were years ago with drones and what you're getting. We've come such a long way to get all this technology. People that are writing this drone off have no idea what they're talking about. They haven't been in the industry long enough. This drone is insane. All these intelligence flight modes that we've talked about, the video quality, the picture quality for the size is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
The price point, they've really nailed it. It's that bridging gap between the Spark and the Mavic Pro.
Yeah, I think it kind of takes out both of those drones. Like if somebody's gonna ask me which one I should get, I would say get this over the Spark or the Mavic Pro. And then all the Mavic Pro owners, I don't know if they're gonna upgrade to this. Maybe they're trying to wait for the new Mavic 2, but I don't know how long they're gonna be waiting.
I think the Mavic Pro owners are gonna be waiting for the Mavic Pro 2, which is definitely coming out. I don't think it's gonna come out in the next couple of months, so soon to this. I could be wrong, I'm just speculating. It could be the second half of the year, but this thing is crazy, and this is gonna open up a whole new market to DJI for customers. It's really getting it in the hands of new drone pilots. and they're going to be getting crazy content with this. So
yeah, good entry level drone.
Yeah.
If you don't have a drone, you're looking for your first one, I'd still say get this over the other drones.
It's not intimidating. It's you can get. It comes with the
User-friendly,
prop guards, with
tons of good features.
it's crazy. So yeah, we've talked about it enough. We've got all this crazy footage that you've seen that both Mike and myself have got. Yeah, so guys, if you're not already following Mike Bishop, his channel is insane. He's got an amazing Instagram account, mikebishop.tv. We're going to put the link down here, and you're starting a YouTube channel this week.
Yeah, YouTube channel's going live tomorrow, so we'll put a link to it in this video. You guys can go check out what I've been working on. Tons of cool drone stuff from around the world, so check it out.
So it's very humble, but Mike has worked for DJI, gets crazy, crazy shots, paid to go all around the world. He just won a photo award at the LA Drone Film Festival. Mike is very well accomplished, so go and follow his Instagram account and check his website out. We're going to put all Mike's links down below. Yeah, not worthy. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning into this video. You know what to do. Be sure to like this video, give us a comment, and subscribe to Drone Gear. And if you want us to do some videos, write in the comments below what you guys want to see from us. We're going to be taking on your feedback this year, and we want to be doing videos for you guys and helping you all out with your drone gear and your tips and tutorials, and maybe we can get Mike to do a video on photos.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.